And he also sharpened my machete. He's tested it out. I haven't tested it out yet. Hey guys, welcome to Wild Hope Homestead. So I haven't actually gotten to finish potting up the rest of my brassica seedlings yet because we had to go out, and I've had a bunch of other things to do like making bone broth and stuff. So he's just sitting here under the hoop netting things on the table. I'll hopefully get to finish those soon, but Scarlett and I harvested some potatoes this morning. Just dug out a little bit more of a patch, and these ones are all agreeas, and we've got some good sized ones in there, so that's good. I'm not sure how many plants this is off, maybe 2, at least 2. So I'm just digging up the potatoes in fits and starts as I need them for dinner, rather than doing a one big harvest. Partly because that's what I've got the time for at the moment, and partly because it's really hot, although today is actually, it's a nice breeze this afternoon. It's slightly cooler. But I need these to cook for dinner tonight, to make enough dinner for tonight and tomorrow, so that will be good. And I guess maybe I should weigh these. I didn't weigh the first few I got. I don't know if I'll bother weighing the whole harvest. Maybe I probably don't have time for that this season, this year. But that's okay. It's just a bit hard to keep up with everything at the moment. So I got some bone broth done, which is good because we just ran out of chicken broth. And I've been topping and tailing beans and putting them into bags in the freezer. And mostly in bags of 300 grams of beans at a time, so it's kind of a good dinner serving size, and it'll be really good to have those later on. Harvesting, so we're harvesting beans, green beans and dried beans, the never-ending cucumbers and gherkins and tomatoes at the moment are the main things. Definitely dealing with the burden of abundance at the moment. Steve's been watching videos and things about sharpening knives. I mean, was already reasonably good at sharpening knives, but he's taken on more of an interest in that lately, which is rather handy. And so he's bought a few knife sharpening things, and he's been sharpening all our kitchen knives, which is good. And he also sharpened my machete. He's tested it out. I haven't tested it out yet, but maybe I need to try that on some weeds now that it's sharpened. I did try sharpening it, but I don't have much in the way of sharpening skills, so he's apparently done a much better job of it with his new bits and pieces. What's going on at the moment? It's been very hot. February's usually the hottest month of the year for us, and we haven't had much rain for a while. We're really wanting some rain, but there's not really barely anything in the forecast. If there is one day with showers, it disappears from the forecast, so things are getting pretty dry now. The garden's holding up okay. I finally had to actually water the garden for the first time this week, which is really not bad considering. We don't have an irrigation system, unfortunately, so by the time I thought about doing that, it wasn't really worth putting one in for us. But next time, it's definitely something I need to prioritise. So watering with the hose it is. So I got out the submersible pump, or the dirty water pump, and I used that in one of our 200 litre rain barrels. So I emptied one of those and part of the other one beside it to water the veggie gardens. So I got those all watered, and we've still got the one in the chicken processing corner still got water in, and then we've got the garage rain tank. I can use the dirty water pump in there to get the water out. The trouble has been that my hose wands get clogged up with bits of algae and dirt and stuff that's been floating around, so that's been a bit of an issue. One of the ones I used to have, you could clean it out okay, but the ones I've got now, you can't, especially one in particular. It may have gotten broken by a child anyway, but I've since rendered it almost useless by using it with the pump. So what I decided was that I just need to save those handheld wands. They're really handy for watering in the garden because you can hold them out and not have to bend over a lot or be super close to the ground or the plants while you're watering. So that's fine to use with our house tank, but if the water's got any bits floating around, particularly with the garage tank is the worst one, or if these barrels, they haven't been cleaned out for a while, so they've got a bit of debris at the bottom. I'm going to try to not use them with this submersible pump so they don't get clogged up. And what I did was I went and had a look for something that looked like it was easily removable that I can use with the pump. So what I got is this one here. It's a Pope is the brand from Bunnings, and it was like about the second cheapest hose head fitting, sprinkler head, whatever you call it, that they had. But it was the only one I could find that you can actually unscrew it to be able to clean it out. This one, whoops, is the Teflon. Oh, just a little bit. That could have been bad. So you can unscrew it like so. Whoops. To be able to clean, I mean, it's got a wide circle in there, so it'd be pretty easy to get stuff out if anything gets stuck in there, which is good. Definitely an easy to clean one, and then that just screws back on. So none of the others really had anything like that, which was disappointing because this isn't quite what I wanted. And this is what you use to adjust it. It goes between jet and quite a wide fine mist, which is good for watering the garden or using the jet function where we need to, but it's not as fun to use because you're holding it right up close to it, so you're going to have to, I'll have to go pretty close, bending down and things close to the soil, but it means we're going to be able to look after our hose wands. This is the one that's pretty munted. It lost all its bits its cover and things that were on the end got broken when that plastic outer rim broke, but there's no way that this just adjusts the settings. They had lots of different settings. This can actually be unscrewed here, but it's extremely difficult to clean out. There's a little bit of a hole in there, and you could try swishing it around in a sink of water is what I did, or a bucket of water or something, but it's going to be pretty hard to be able to get out anything that's stuck near that end. So not something that you need to think about if you're using a dirty water pump or any kind of pump in dirty water. What's it going to be passing through, and how easy is it to clean? The best hose wand that I've had so far, or that's maybe lasted the longest, is this Nylex one. That one was from Bunnings. I've tried a few different ones, and generally the ones that are cheaper are not so great. But this one's been pretty good so far. It has pictures of you can see the jet one, that's the jet one. Most of the pictures of the different settings have rubbed off, but I bought a new one and it's got the things written, the settings written on there, so I don't know if they'll last any longer, but we'll see. That one does unscrew there as well, but it's a similar thing. You could only get water in so far to clean it out, which is not particularly far. So I try to save that for just chicken chores and things. From this tap's connected to our house tank, so that's fine. I just have to not use this with our water pump, our dirty water pump. While we're talking about watering things, I've actually found this really handy, a tap connector or hose connector. This is the Hose Lock brand. This one is mostly out of the sun, so that's probably making it last longer. There were some brass ones, but I thought I'd see how this one would go, and it's been pretty good. The thing I like about this one compared to some of the other ones is that this one it's got two connections here, so this one's pretty much permanently got the hose attached to it with the hose wand, and this one's an extra one for whatever else you might need. And then this is the bonus tap thing here, so it just means that if that's on, you can use this like a tap, and that's really handy for when I'm cleaning my chicken things. I can switch between that being on, I can switch that off and turn this on to be able to use the hose and the hose wand. You can have both on at the same time, and yeah, it seems to be holding up well so far, so that's been handy. Hello chickies. The chickens are surviving the heat. Made a few birdies, haven't we? And you guys have eaten all the green things in here. They only took a matter of days to demolish the pumpkins that have grown into the pen. So that was fun for them. The Musky de Provence, I don't know, I'm trying to say it right, pumpkins are starting to die back now, which is probably a good thing considering they're taking over the garden. Yep, I have lost control of those ones over there. I haven't really been in there, well, I haven't been in there for a while to see what's growing. Oh, there's one there. Still green. That's good. So I have no... Oh wow, look at the size of that one. Destroy the leaves and stems. cool. Ooh, that is a big one. I'll just leave it because I don't want to destroy the stems and then flow of nutrients to them. I can't really see much else of what's actually growing in there, so we'll find out when everything eventually dies down. Angus managed to get in to pick some blueberries, so that was good. We've got some nightshade that's popped up on there that I need to get rid of. And the black currants have all finished. The sunflower is the happiest sunflower I've ever grown. It's doing so well. I was wondering why it was doing so well, because this raised bed is, I guess, the narrowest one we've got. And then I remembered that's because it's where we dug the black currant out of, or black currants out of, right down there, and topped it up with soil from the chicken pen. So it's probably got lots of good nutrients in there. The sunflower's obviously happy. It's had, right, let's count. 1, 2, oh goodness, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, there's a tiny one there, I won't count that yet. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, oh, there's another one, 20 flowers on there at the moment. Not counting that tiny little one that hasn't come out. So I've never seen one. Did I count that one? I've never seen one with so many flowers on it before. But it's been really nice to look at. Out the door and right by the gate. It's been just perfect. Steve mowed this morning and mowed my raised bed garden walkways again, which has actually really helped because the mower's been chopping up some of these big chunks. It looks heaps better than what line trimming does for it, just whacking the weeds back. So the path's actually looking quite nice at the moment until the weeds grow back. There's some pretty tough grasses in here. Hello. I've been harvesting a bunch of the calendula flowers, which is good, so hopefully I'll have a good stash to be able to use. I've noticed that the flowers are quite different in their kind of formation, so which is interesting. Since some of the seed heads have dried out and I'm going to save some seeds, I'm trying to decide which ones to save seeds from. So we've got this one, which is pretty kind of standard looking. Has quite a reasonable amount of petals and they're sort of thinner. And next to that we have this one, which seems to have bigger flowers, and the edges are slightly serrated at the tips. When they're a bit younger they look like this, so the petal lengths are more uneven, I guess. And then there's this one, which is the frilliest one I've got. The centre is less distinct, well, they actually have some tiny petals coming out of the centres. They have the most petals, the flowers. So does that mean that those are the best to use for medicinal purposes? I don't know. I guess I don't like the look of these ones as much as the other ones. And it can be hard to tell what's a good stage for picking. Like, that one's a good stage there, but once they sort of get to the open stage, it can be quite hard to tell if they're just open or if they've been like that for a while. There's some of these ones over here. But I'm learning. They're all so different. And right next to that is this one, which is, I was going to say, a more uniform looking one, although the petals are kind of not entirely even around the centre. They're a bit shorter on one side. That's kind of weird. But yeah, more rounded in the ends, and definitely less petals on these ones. And when they're young and just opening, they look like this. So there's nothing weird going on in the centre of them, so it's quite easy to tell. That one's been open for a while. This is another plant here. This one has some little thin petals that come up in the middle. These ones are bigger flowers as well. Probably about as big as the second one I showed, where they're quite big. So that might be a good candidate to save seeds from. This one here is the weirdest one. I'm not sure if it's because the plant's looking pretty dry. I guess I didn't actually water the cucumbers because they've been doing too well. So maybe it's a bit dry and shaded in there. I don't know, but it's also just different. They have the dark centres, which is kind of nice. I do like that. But they're a paler colour. It's not a great plant. It's pretty scrawny looking. I do like those dark centres just to look at, but they haven't really got a lot of petals. The petals are quite thin, so maybe not the best to save seeds from. And then we've got this one. This one's the last one in the raised bed garden. And this is my favourite one to look at because they just look cute. And they're probably the smallest, or one of the smallest. The petals are quite rounded on the ends, which is nice. They just look pleasant. But yeah, the flowers are smaller, so I guess that's not as great. And the plant seems a bit more compact as well. That part is kind of handy, so it's not taking up so much space. We've got two plants in the herb garden. One is like this, which is fairly standard looking. It's quite a tall, leggy plant, which is not super helpful. Reasonable sized flowers, and easy to tell how far along they are. And then we've got this one. Actually, this one's been the last to start flowering because it's a bit shady. This one actually could be possibly the best one to save seeds from in terms of the amount of petals it's got and big flowers. Well, that one's a big flower anyway. That one's a bit smaller. Well, since it's gotten so hot and dry, the lavenders seem to be a bit more happy, so I think that's saying something. Look at this lovely new silver foliage. I think they obviously just like it quite dry, which is not super great for some of the other things, but look at the rosemary. That's liking it in the dry too. Be able to harvest a good bunch of leaves off there. It's looking a lot less scrawny from this angle now anyway. Front plot is looking pretty toasted. New England pie pumpkins as well. And there's a little Chuck's Winter. I think the Chuck's Winter, well, because they were a bit slower to get going, they're probably enjoying being able to grow now that the other ones have just about died back. Hopefully the Chuck's Winter will get going and take over because they haven't had enough time to grow yet. There's another one there. Good, at least they've done something, but they haven't. They got a bit swamped and out-competed by the pumpkins. The kumara's getting a little bit weedy in the kumara row. So I have to deal with that when it's not so hot. The tomatoes have gotten blight on them, but they're still doing alright. They always do. So these first ones, well these I think were the first ones I planted, but they are still doing rather well. A King's Gold. Some nice big ones on there. And we've picked plenty already, so that's good. There are 2 calendulas here in the front plot. This is the first one. It's got reasonably big flowers, long petals. And this one's got slightly more frilly flowers, or ruffled. A few petals in the centre, little petals in there. Quite big, but quite roughly. So I want to know which calendulas are the best plants to save seed from, with all the different flower and petal formations. I guess there's no way of really knowing without testing their medicinal benefits, but I suppose I'm kind of thinking the ones that have big flowers and lots of petals, maybe good ones. But I also like the look of the little cute ones, so maybe I'll save some seeds from them too. And smaller, more compact plants are kind of handy for if I'm wanting to plant them under other things in the veggie garden. Some of them are pretty tall and lanky, the plants, so they're kind of swamping some of the veggies a little bit. I just realised I was going to try and get the others to help dig out some potatoes. Maybe we'll still get time, but it is pretty hot now, late in the afternoon. I dug out a few more agria potatoes from down there, so the agria plants have all pretty much died down, so they actually need to come out. Whereas these whātaro ones are still hanging in there, even though they look mostly yellowed over here. There are green leaves and stems hanging over this side, so everything on this side is a bit better. I think things probably get a bit more blasted by the wind on that side, so the blight and everything tends to be worse on that side. Our little dwarf pear tree, that is getting a little bit taller since I've been pruning it and trying to prune the trees around it. It's got ripe fruit now, so that's good. Angus has been eating them already. I better get some while I can. Where are you going? There you go, you got yourself in.